Hey guys, um, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I know it's been a minute since I've been on here. I was just kind of like recouping from my surgery and everything. I mean, it's all healed now. It's amazing. It's like all the bandages are off, all the outer wounds are completely closed up and healed. God is so good. It's so swift in his healing. I don't even know if it's been like 10 days since my surgery. Um, but it was an amazing process, and it's actually amazing because I feel much so much better since I've had my gallbladder out. Like I've been all over town. I've been exercising again. My diet is better. Everything's better. Like it's amazing what the you need a surgery, you don't even know you need it, and then bam, like you feel a million times better. So that's so good. But all the stuff that happened this week, I just kind of been really processing it, and I think everybody has. It's really tragic with the murder of Charlie Kirk, and it got me thinking, and I just wanted to think, about it for a couple of days before I said anything. But the verse that kept coming to mind was John 12:24, 28, or whatever it is. It says, if a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains, unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it falls and dies, it produces much fruit. And of course, the verse was speaking of Jesus. But when something like this happens, and you see a man who walks with integrity, so much integrity in this man's life, who loves his family, who loves his country, who loves his children, who you know, just he practices what he preaches, and goes out and goes into the hardest places, colleges where, young kids full of opinions that think they know everything, and he's willing to talk with them and challenge them and make them think. And he didn't even go to school. That's such an amazing thing. What a gifted man. And that just shows you what following the Lord, when the Lord endows his wisdom on you, what you're capable of. And um and for him to live a life and die at 31, and he has a legacy that most people wouldn't have even if they lived 10 lifetimes, and to be able to accomplish so much in such a short period of time. He was the perfect candidate for a martyr because like he was truly, truly, truly one of a kind. And I just admire that man so much. And so it's one thing, when a not so good person dies, and yeah, that's sad because it's like, well, they had potential but they never lived up to it. But when somebody really is walking out this life, and practicing what they preach, and bringing the gospel to hard places, and leading kids to Jesus in a college atmosphere. I mean, that's really what he was doing. He was witnessing Jesus to some of the hardest people to witness to. um, and he's willing to die for his faith, and he did die for his faith. um, because make no mistake, this is a spiritual battle. That kind of loss is the loss that produces much fruit. The verse is really speaking, if we're willing to die to ourselves, we will produce much fruit. And not only was he willing to die to himself in his natural day-to-day life, but he ultimately gave his life, because it's something that I've heard said many times over the years. And Pastor Phil used to say it a lot when I lived with him. He would say, um, don't be worried about dying for Jesus if you don't even live for Jesus, right? And so it's so amazing when one of us becomes a martyr, and that's a high, I'll die for Jesus, and that's like, that's something that a lot of people want to aspire to, is being a martyr for Christ. But be the type of person that lives for Jesus, and Charlie Kirk definitely lived for Jesus in his day to day. And um and so he carried his cross, and he died to self, and then ultimately he gave his life as a martyr. And that's something that we should all aspire to. And so I feel like with his loss, it is awakening something in us. It's definitely awakened something in me. And I will say that one of his last messages, the for the past couple months, that he's been talking about, that nobody wants to talk about, and it may even be the reason why he was killed ultimately. Uh, was his message about Zionism and how it's not a good thing and that we need to start questioning it and we need to keep that message alive. Don't let that get buried with him, because I'm telling you, that may be the message that he died for. And so I just want to reiterate how important that message is that Zionism is not in your Bible. It is not something that is scriptural. They are twisting the scriptures of God to make a nation state of Israel, and then to butcher and slaughter whoever they want to gain world domination. This political move of Zion is not scriptural, and that was the message he was preaching, and may have cost him his life. Hey, Katie, how are you? How are you? Yeah, girl. It's crazy. So, that's the message that I want to keep speaking, because that's the message that will get you blacklisted. That's the message that that's the message that nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to hear. That's the message that is the ultimate truth that will get you killed and exiled. And that's the message that's going to cost your life eventually. So, we have to know who our enemy is and what our enemy is. And we've been so deceived by this, like, Zionism, and it's infiltrated the churches, because you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. Zionism is an ideology. There are Christian Zionists, there are Jewish Zionists. It is, my, thank you, Katie. Yeah, I went to Chinatown and got a haircut, and like, I gave her the picture. Sorry, I don't mean to cut that off, but like, I gave her the picture and I was like, don't cut my bangs. And the first cut, she cut my bangs off, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh well, it's fine. It'll grow back. But yeah, I feel like a boy right now, but it's fine. My hair will grow back. It's wet right now. Me and the neighbor kid were playing in the fire hydrant because we were having a bit of a little heat wave today. So, so my hair's all wet right now, but, anyway, so yeah, I just was thinking about Charlie and his message, and not only was he spreading the love of Jesus and, the truth of like our identity as male and female, and, he was, showing the truth about racism, what we say, everybody's like, that racism, the ideology of racism, where if you do something that, you call somebody out on their behavior and they say you're racist, that's a Marxist ideology. Charlie, in a lot of ways, his number one battle was against communism, and really communism has infiltrated America more than we'd care to admit, and that's what socialism actually is. Socialism is communism light. It's the light version of communism. So, that's really the true monster. That's the battle that we're fighting. And so we have to remember that. We have to know who our enemy is. We have to know what they believe. We have to know the rhetoric and the ideology behind communism. And he would stand up to things like that. And so I feel like we can't be afraid anymore to speak out and to speak up. If you want to call someone a racist, I want proof. I want proof of that racism. I want to see what you're talking about. And it's not just a feeling. Oh, I feel like they're racist. No, prove that. Prove that they're racist. I want to know what do you mean they're racist? I'm not. It's like, and especially if you see Britain and the march yesterday. Like, they had millions of people, and the news report said that there was only like 118,000 people there, but there was millions of people in attendance in the UK for this protest. And in that country, they don't have weapons to defend themselves, and then you have the Muslim jihadists taking over their country to where it's not even legal to be white anymore. And white is this, like, it's this term of it's white people are taught to hate ourselves. We're taught to hate our culture. We're taught that we're evil from a very young age. And no more are we going to think that way. No more are we not going to defend ourselves. No more are we going to be silent on those types of issues, because we can't afford to be. And he wasn't. And he would stand up for our way of life. And we have to know our way of life. We have to remember who we are, where we come from, and what we've accomplished, the good things that white people have done, and that you can call it colonization all you want to, but it's Jesus. It's the way of life that upholds Christ. And so, yeah, I just want to remember him, and I think that that's the best thing that we can do, and to honor him is to let that grain of wheat that died produce much fruit. and to let it inspire us to keep doing what he was doing and to keep the message alive and to stand strong in our faith and to go after the people that nobody else wants to talk to, that they're afraid to talk to. And he was very much an inspiration, and I definitely want to remember that in my life every day, and let it grow, and let it turn into a massive tree that produces much fruit. That one grain of seed that died in the ground is going to produce a massive tree that produces much fruit. I have no doubt that something changed just the other day. Something is different now, that all bets are off. Like it's now or never. It's open your mouth or die. Like this is our make or break you point right now. Like, I mean, this is it. There is no other time that's going to come to where we have to make a decision to stand our ground and to speak up and to be heard and to be, whether it costs us our life or not, or our freedom or anything else. I'm going down with the fight. So anyway, that's about it. As for me, it's been one thing after another. I'm not gonna lie. Like, my car broke down this week, so I'm trying to, but I don't know what to do about it. So I'm just, I know it's broken, but there's nothing I can do to get it fixed right now. So I've just been trying to walk everywhere and get exercise and like take the train and as much as I possibly can, and just be positive that something will work itself out. And that's all we can do. I mean, it feels like it's been a lot lately. I've had a lot of stuff, but also at the same time, I've had peace through all this stuff that's been going on in my life. So, I know that my health is getting back on track, and, I had my surgery. I feel great. I have my blood pressure is down, and my diabetes. I start a new medicine for that tomorrow, which should get that under control. And like, I already felt much better. So, hopefully within the next few weeks I can start working, because I really didn't feel like working. I didn't feel like doing much of anything lately for the past few months, because I was so sick and I didn't know what was wrong with me. So now that I'm feeling better, I'm just like, I'm eager for the future for the first time in a long time. But I know a lot of stuff is piling up in my life too. I'm just trying not to look at the mountain of the stuff piling, and just like focus on Jesus, because that's all we can do. We can't, he can fix your whole life, all your problems and the issue, and the key is to look at Jesus and pay attention to him. What is he doing? What is he saying? What is he thinking? He's gonna fix it. He's gonna solve all your problems if we just look at him. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye, Katie. Have a good week. I'll talk to you soon. I'll try to get on here next week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.